Hey guys, welcome back to SoBackSports, and we're so back with another episode of the SoBackSports podcast. And today we have a very special guest joining us. Is Nick Roddy from the Just Another Year Chicago Bears. And listen, we're just here to talk about some Bears football and what happened in this past season. So thanks again for coming on to the podcast. I really appreciate you for joining.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys. Sorry, my lighting's all weird, so it looks like I'm a ghost. But yeah, no, I'm super excited to be on. It's already been a crazy off season so far, so I'm excited for it. I think the Bears are heading in the right direction for once, and all arrows are pointing up. But we've been tricked before, but I think this
Mm-hmm.
one's a different time of situation.
Yeah, of course, because that kind of like leads into my first kind of question or topic of discussion is like overall, like this season has been very like it started off in such a great way. We were 4-2, going like into London, winning against the Jaguars, and then it just at that Hail Mary, man, like it got us a Wikipedia page, and then it just never felt the same ever again, and just felt like every single week progressively got worse. But then we ended it with a win in the most unexpected fashion in Green Bay. So overall, how do you feel like, especially from a person that covers the Bears throughout the entire season and multiple seasons? Like, how did you feel covering the Bears? And what did you think of the season as a whole going into the off season?
Yeah. So sorry, I think I did not figure out the lighting situation, but we're gonna let it ride.
Yes, sir.
So throughout the season, I mean, like when they started 4-2, we kind of expected them to be 4-2, easiest schedule entering the season for the first 8 weeks, and we didn't really know where the Commanders were going to be. And when we had the opportunity to actually play the Commanders, both teams were in similar positions. They were one game difference. The Commanders were just starting to get hot. They were beating good teams, losing to bad teams. We didn't really know where they were going to go. The Bears, though, I mean, they were beating everyone they should beat. Their week against the Houston Texans, they should have won. Against the Colts, a lot of people believe we should have won. So the Bears could have easily have been a 6-1 team entering that game. And plays like that on the Hail Mary just devastate a locker room. And, it kind of broke Matt Eberflus, like Matt Nagy got broken after the double doink. They didn't know how to bounce back. And the team obviously lost a lot of its confidence. And when your rookie quarterback loses his confidence like that, along with it, the media is just all over your team for accountability. And then everyone starts questioning themselves. So when everything started to fall apart, it was because guys were just in their own heads. I think that this team could have done a lot more things this year. I think they should have won all 3 games in a row against the NFC North, went all at home against the Lions, or not all at home, but against the Lions, against the Packers and the Vikings. That's 3 more wins right there. Obviously, we got the Packers win, but in Minnesota, we should have had that win too. There were so many opportunities that this Bears team could have been something and could have been really special, but they just didn't have the confidence. It's still a really young team, and also was led by a guy that wasn't a leader. Ben Johnson walks in, he's a leader. I think if Ben Johnson would have been the Bears head coach, we'd be in a lot different position, even with the same roster.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. You know, I would say, and I think like you kind of touched on it with what you said there. Like, I think it's just been very historic in multiple ways because you had the highs of highs with like seeing the potential in Caleb Williams and seeing us after embarrassing losses, like obscure losses by a lot of means, like get the block kick, that play clock management at the end in the Lions game on Thanksgiving, the Hail Mary, obviously. But then you have like things like the sell the team chance in prime time in the primetime game that actually like the voices were heard from Chicago Bears fans to the front office and the ownership group. And I think that kind of struck a nerve for the McCaskies to, maybe take a risk and go out and get a Ben Johnson. And also the fact that we beat, you know, the Green Bay Packers in Lambeau Field. That's, I think, in general, while there was a lot of bad, like it's very easy to kind of stick with that and just be like, oh, the Bears are just never going to be like historic. They had some moments throughout the season, and I think you kind of touched upon it as well. I just felt that, it could have been very good, but I think if it weren't for us losing in the ways we did, if it wasn't for like the ways we, oh man, like the ways the media was portraying us and all that, I think it would have been a very different story going into this offseason. And maybe we would have settled if we had won those games. And Ben Johnson would have not been a Bear. And we might have had settled for a head coach if we decided to move on from Eberflus. But yeah, I mean,
I couldn't agree more. It's so crazy how everything. I mean, we could also thank Chris Morgan for making our offensive line as bad as it is. Get all the draft picks that we've gotten. I don't like to blame, or I don't like to thank people for making us lose, but in a good way, it did happen.
Yeah, I guess all works out for the like in its own way. But yeah, I just wanted to kind of also talk about, the our because the thing is right now we have this thing going on where it's like, oh, the Bears are just off-season champions. Obviously we're going for a three-peat, so that's obviously really good. But do you think this third time is the charm, and do you think that we can really, build upon all those seasons that we really thought we were going to make a run? That's my yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you remember Ryan Pohl's opening press conference is that this thing was going to be ripped down to the bottom and probably take 3 years to get it back. Well, this was year 3. And we all have to consider that a lot of patience is what builds these franchises, culture being one of them. And, a lot of analysts were like, maybe you let Eberflus go too early. You can't give up on guys. I think he was a major problem because his players were going against him, but it wasn't just one player going against him. It was everyone. So this culture that's been built inside of this House Hall locker room has been very special. Guys have each other's backs. They're playing for each other. They're getting better each week in and week out. And that's why a lot of these guys have stayed. I mean, a lot of players on this team could ask for trades. They have a market. People would trade for a lot of players on this team. And for them to, build this thing up as fast as they have, considering, they needed a quarterback, they needed a wide receiver, they needed an entirely new defense. And, we're entering year 4 now of the Ryan Poles era, but it said he'd take 3 years to build it. Now there's no excuses. Now you have to go out and win. And we've beaten tough teams. We've shown that this team has a lot of heart and a lot of pride. But you can't build an entire team in one offseason, considering how bad the books were for the Chicago Bears from the Ryan Pace era, the draft picks, the type of players we had, the locker room as a whole. You had to tear it down, and tearing down a team of a total of 22 starters, but 53 guys on it is not done in one offseason. It's incredible when teams do it, but it's very, very rare. And I think the Bears are doing this thing right, considering we have the 4th highest cap. We're in the top 5 cap now for the 4th offseason in a row. We have 4 picks in the top 100, could get 5 if Ian Cunningham does accept the Jaguars job. There's just a lot of different things that are moving here that needed to take place in order to build this team correctly. And I think that the Bears are doing it right, even though it's frustrating as fans. I would rather lose for 3 seasons and win for 10 versus lose for 2 seasons, win for 2 seasons, and then do the whole cycle all over again.
So wait, I have a question, like, because you were saying like Ryan Poles' like moves that he made like throughout his like 10 years Chicago Bears GM. So like my question is like when he traded, I think, Roquan Smith, I think 2022 trade deadline, and then obviously in the draft, Jalen Carter was available. He's an All-Pro now, and he went and traded down for Darnell Wright. Do you think that was a right move? Like hindsight now, like. Do you think that was the right move to Roquan Smith, like arguably is like a top 3 like linebacker in the league. And then I think the future for Jalen Carter is like really, really good. I mean, he's had his best season this year with the Philadelphia Eagles, and they have the number 1 defense now. So do you think that move from Ryan Poles was a great move, and obviously trading down, getting a 4th round pick, and drafting Darnell Wright with the 10th overall pick?
Yeah, you have it's a great question, and you have to look at it from all angles. So if you look at the Eagles, you look at the Ravens, you look at who their head coaches are, you look at their coaching staff, you look at the culture they have. Anyone that goes to those systems is going to succeed. You look at the Bears, you look at their defensive Matt Eberflus is a good secondary and linebackers coach. He's not a good defensive line coach. Who would have known what Jalen Carter would have turned out to be if he would have come to the Chicago Bears? And Trenton Gill, our punter, was the worst punter in the league for 2 seasons in a row. And that was a Ryan Poles guy, but he was drafted in the 6th round. You don't get a Torrey Taylor type player every single draft. So if you don't make that move with the Philadelphia Eagles by trading back and taking Darnell Wright, who has been your number 1 offensive lineman the last 2 years, your only solid offensive lineman the last couple of years, and that's succeeding with Chris Morgan as his offensive line coach. I mean, that's a lot of odds to beat, and to move back 1 spot to also get a top 5 starting punter in the NFL who is very young still, could be in the league for 15, 17 years. You lock up that position for 15, 17 years. You have Darnell Wright, who is still very young, halfway through his rookie contract, and he's playing at a top level without even an average offensive lineman coach. The sky's the limit for him. So moving back 1 position for a guy that had a lot of off-field problems that we weren't sure would have worked in this defense, I say that the move was still great. I'm fully on board with that move. The Bears locker room has no off-field issues at the moment. Let's hope it stays that way. I think Jalen Carter would have came in, had that bad boy mentality. Like, that's not what the Bears needed. In regards to Roquan Smith, he went to one of the best coaches in the NFL over the last 3 decades in John Harbaugh. And that Ravens defense is always solid. Roquan Smith has an amazing supporting cast around him. But Roquan Smith looked good when he was here, but he had no one around him. And he looks the same while he has a supporting cast. So did he ever look really good while he was with the Bears? Or was he actually really good because could no one tackle? So was he legitimately this type of player that he is now or not? And you go out, you make that trade, and you sign TJ Edwards and Tremaine Edmonds for only $2.5 million more. Guys who cover more space, are on a contract longer, are more cap friendly, and you can dump them if it doesn't work out. Roquan Smith, you were to pay him $20 million. Let's say he snaps. Let's say he doesn't want to be here anymore. You have dead money. You have other issues. So I think Ryan Poles made the right moves at the end of the day. At the moment, it was frustrating because he is one of the best linebackers in the league. But I don't think he would have been in the same type of situation or at the same level if he would have stayed here.
So, here's I agree with you. Like, I think it was the right move financially. But, I feel like my problem with that was, I don't know, because just hindsight, because I just feel like Roquan Smith, he's had a really good, last couple of seasons. And I'm just looking at Tremaine Edmonds. I feel like, I don't know, that contract for Tremaine Edmonds it just irks me because I feel like it was a really big overpay. I mean, I think the TJ Edwards one was fine. I mean, he wasn't that expensive, but I think Tremaine Edmonds has regressed, and I think Tyreek Stevenson this season, right? He's regressed. That's a big draft pick that Ryan Poles did. He traded up in the 2nd round to get him. So I want to talk about the draft, because the draft is coming up, right? Do you and I feel like this is Ryan Poles, in my opinion, this is his last chance to really prove that, he's there to belong. Because I feel like he said he was going to build the trenches. Really, it's kind of been disappointing. I think there's been a lot of misses and hits. So what do you think he should do in this draft class where it has a lot of tackles, a lot of DBs, a lot of defensive linemen? Because I feel like the trenches and the offensive line really need help. So what do you think he needs to do? And how much involved does Ben Johnson need to be involved during the draft process, in your opinion?
Yeah, so very big loaded question. Let me break it all down one by one. So in regards to Tremaine Edmonds, he signed a 4-year, $72 million contract. And if you look at Roquan's contract, it was 5 years, 120. So you locked him back in for less. You're paying him significantly less. 5 years, 100 million. Excuse me. So you're paying him significantly less. A guy that was averaging 115 tackles a year, 80 of them being solo, with multiple interceptions, averaging 4 pass deflections per year, 5 sacks per year. I mean, this guy was an absolute beast in Buffalo. But he had a beast of a defensive guy in Sean McDermott. He also had a great defensive coordinator over there too. So Tremaine Edmonds was able to thrive there. When he comes to Chicago, he started off his career here injured, which didn't help things out. He was a little bit slower to learn the playbook, but then, in his first season, he was balling out. I mean, he did a great job in all things considered, not playing in the preseason, having a ton of rust on him, and then playing injured throughout the year. You look at Tremaine, he lost a gear a couple games in, and it always felt like something was wrong. And if you remember back in one of the Bears' first home games, the second one after the Titans, so I believe that was the LA Rams, Tremaine took a pretty big shot to the hip, and I don't think he ever recovered from that. So I think he had to play injured because Flus wanted him to play injured. And then Tremaine's like, well, I'm already playing. I might as well just keep going at this point. So no denial that it was a decline this year, but I think that, a lot of these players don't talk about their injuries that they have. So I think that Tremaine was a good signing on paper. It was a disappointing year, but bringing in Dennis Allen, who makes absolute beast of linebackers, I feel like Tremaine could be in for a Pro Bowl year. And that would be huge because it would make everyone go, well, this contract worked out pretty well in regards to Tremaine Edmonds. So starting off with that one, and I'm not a Tremaine Edmonds guy. I just think that I think he gets a lot of heat for stuff is out of his control. He is a captain of this team, 6'5", 250 pounds. He's just a freak of an athlete. Going through your question in regards to the trenches, I look back at the last couple of years. I look at the Bears cap. I look where they spent money. They spent money on DJ Moore. They spent a ton of money on the defense. But I look at the free agency periods, and I'm like, where could the Bears have made a move that could have signed a top free agent offensive lineman without an injury track record? And I couldn't find one person. Not one of the top free agent offensive linemen played a full 17 games since the 17-game season became a thing. At least 1 or 2 games out, which could be an injury thing, could be time management, kind of what is that, load management or anything like that. Could be that. The only guy I've seen is Trey Smith, which that's someone I'm willing to pay big money for. So, and then I look at the drafts and I'm like, all right, Joe Alt, but did Olu Fushanu turn out well? Did a lot of these other top guards and centers besides Jackson Powers Johnson and Zach Frazier, who we all wanted, they were off the board already. We weren't going to take Jackson Powers Johnson at number 9 when Roma Dunze was there. And I wish the Bears had more picks. And then the question comes in, should the Bears have traded back and not kept Williams? Caleb Williams is the real deal. Like, I don't care what people say. Like, he is the future. Him and Jaden Daniels' numbers are almost identical. And Jaden Daniels had Dan Quinn and Cliff Kingsbury versus Shane Waldron and Matt Eberflus. For Ben Johnson, he 100% needs to be involved in the building of this franchise, in the trenches, offensive trenches specifically. What I love that the Bears did is bringing in Dennis Allen. He has head coaching experience on 2 separate teams in the Raiders and the Saints. He has defensive coordinator experience on the Saints and the Broncos. I mean, this guy is one of the best defensive minds. He's a younger Vic Fangio, I call him. And I think that what he's going to do is he's going to sit here and be like, okay, you're number 1 pick. Let's see who's available. If a defensive guy like Abdul Carter is available at 10, you have to take him. You have to take him. Hopefully, you've already spent some money in free agency on Trey Smith, Mekhi Beckham, Drew Delman, guys like along that board to address some of the positions on the offensive line. Because this offensive draft, you have Will Campbell and you have Calvin Banks Jr. And in my personal opinion, like, it's kind of it from a top offensive lineman like a Joe Alt status. So whoever's at 10, you make that decision and you take it. If a Mason Graham is there from Michigan, you got to take him. You have to take elite talent at 10. You have 2 second-round picks and you might have 2 third-round picks. You could go crazy on guards. You can go crazy on interior defensive linemen. Edges, I mean, Mike Green from Marshall maybe. But Ben Johnson should 100% have a lot of say in what this roster is because this is his team. Right now, this is Eberflus's roster that Poles put together for him. Ben Johnson knows what a winning culture is like in Detroit. He knows what it takes. Worked really closely with Hank Foley, who is their offensive line coach in Detroit. Maybe get on the phone with him, pick his brain a little bit because they're still friends. At the end of the day, Ben Johnson and Dennis Allen should be heavily involved. And, Deacon Doyle, I love the guy, 28 years old. Sit back and just learn. But Ben Johnson and Dennis Allen should 100% be in Ryan Poles' ear who they want.
Yeah, that's honestly what I feel like really needs to happen, especially with how this roster is constructed. Like you hit it on the money because Ben Johnson has like throughout his career in Detroit has been able to develop his offensive line, build the trenches, and curate an offense that is so potent that it makes defenses think twice. And
Yeah.
that's something we really hope for with the pieces that we have right now that he can kind of build off of. And instead of like taking 3 years, it would be like in 2 years or maybe even 1.5 at times. But that kind of leads me to my next point is talking about Caleb Williams, because obviously Caleb Williams had a very up and down season, but one of the best seasons for a rookie quarterback for Chicago Bears history, and top 5 in passing yards, like for a rookie or in the Bears history in general. So my question is what is the biggest thing Caleb and Ben need to like work on together in order to have success for next season, and maybe even, hit that 4,000 yard mark that all Bears fans are really wanting their quarterback to hit?
Mental capability. This kid has everything in the world. He's gifted athletically. He can do it. He's proven to us he can do anything he wants on that field. I mean, Eric Caleb against the Seahawks was probably the rawest clip of the year, where he literally threw it's just a dart to Rome. This kid is athletically gifted and he knows it, but mentally in the NFL, it's a completely different game than college. And Ben Johnson, working with Jared Goff, working across through his entire NFL career, and working with different types of mentalities of quarterbacks, he needs to put that all together and treat Caleb like a veteran. Push him and teach him to become a veteran in one offseason. They should be sitting down together, getting to know each other on a personal level, and also on top of it, on a football level, understanding where Caleb is struggling. And we all see, like, when the pocket's breaking down, Caleb panics. Justin Fields did it. Bagent did it. Trubisky did it. All these different quarterbacks, this is what happens to young guys, is when you don't give them a good offensive line, they panic. And Caleb's created this habit, unfortunately, that he has learned because of our bad offensive line that he needs to shake off. And Ben Johnson needs to be doing everything possible to be working with him to teach him that his system is going to protect him, where to throw it when he's in trouble, not get hit 69 times in one season, just overall mental capability and making sure that he understands a play, understands what to do in various situations, and make him comfortable in the system as a whole, and learn that playbook as fast as possible. Because Ben Johnson said it's a whole new playbook. I would have been handing it to Caleb Williams and being like, learn it, play it on Madden, look for the plays itself, see what you guys think. That's exactly what Ben Johnson should be doing with Caleb Williams right now. And Caleb Williams should be asking every question imaginable to Ben Johnson, considering how much of a guru he is.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I think you nailed it. I think Caleb Williams also, I feel like a lot of the times he was trying to escape the pocket this season, he thought it was like USC. Like I heard like a lot of announcers be saying that, and like I think his sophomore year, I think his pocket presence needs to get better. But I feel like, I don't know, Ben Johnson can definitely help him with that. But I agree. I think Caleb Williams had an up and down season this year. I mean, he had his highs and he had his lows. He did get sacked 69 times, but I mean, I feel like some of them were his fault. I mean, I'm not saying all of them were. Obviously, like
100%. I agree.
I think the offensive line was like bad, but also like he's a rookie, so like we have to like grade him on that basis. So I think the sky's the limit for him. I feel like this is a very great hire, like Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams. Like this is like the foundation of the franchise, the quarterback and the head coach. So I like the hires that Ben Johnson got. I'm not really familiar with the guy from Denver, but I'm not really worried about him because I think like Ben Johnson, I think ultimately will be calling the plays like Flus was doing for our defense. So like I'm excited for that. And I think, I don't know, I think Caleb Williams, I think for his growth to get like 4K yards, because I feel like that's what Chicago Bears fans want him to get. I think just be more comfortable. I feel like DJ Moore this season needs to be better because like I feel like he was good, but there's a lot of drops. And I think, in my opinion, we should bring back Keenan Allen on a cheap deal because he was very, very big for Caleb Williams. He was like his go-to weapon. So I would actually personally, like I don't think his price tag is gonna be that big. So I would actually like keep Keenan Allen, try to get a contract with him. Um, Trey Smith, like you said, I think that's a really good free agent. If we can get Trey Smith, he's a good guard. He's 25 years old, very young. You know, big part of the Kansas City Chiefs' success was their offensive line, and he's like their strong point of their offensive line. And then I feel like this offseason, real quick, I really want the Bears to get another edge rusher. Like I really want Montez Sweat to get some help because like I think he's a really good player, but this season he was played hurt and like he just didn't have help. He was getting double teamed, and I like DeMarcus Walker. I like Gervon Dexter. I mean, he's not really an edge rusher, but he played well. But we need someone else in edge. So either we draft it or we go in free agency and get someone. I don't care. We just got to get someone to help Montez Sweat out. And I feel like if we get that, this team is definitely on the right track to being very competitive, even with the second hardest schedule next season.
Yeah,
Agreed.
I mean, it's like you kind of nailed it with the mental toughness. Because getting sacked 69 times in a single season will definitely take a toll on like especially a rookie quarterback. Like if I even get hit, I that would probably for the next couple of years I will be thinking about that. So like I feel like the fact is I think the one thing we can kind of go look back at was those games where things were not really going well for him, but he does have the little bit of the mental toughness still there. It's just that Ben Johnson really needs to yank that out and make it so that he will get comfortable in dire situations. And I think we can go back to that Commanders game where it was not good whatsoever for the first 3 quarters. Caleb was just overly flustered. The team wasn't playing well. Everything was just falling apart. But then the fourth quarter rolled around and then he started to get comfortable. Like, obviously, the passing wasn't really there, but he did make some good, crucial throws to eventually extend the play to give it to Roshan Johnson and the running backs, DeAndre Swift, to take the lead before the Hail Mary. So, like, he has the ability to lead game winning drives. And I think that's what Chicago Bears fans have been wanting in Justin Fields or Trubisky, where you know that when it's the 2-minute warning or 2 minutes left on the clock and it's go time, have a game-winning drive, you are able to march down the field and give your team a chance to win. Caleb has done that multiple and numerous occasions, but I think from a bigger perspective, I really want Caleb to really work on, the mechanics and his ability to extend the deep ball. Because I think from a standpoint this season, we've kind of seen Caleb try to make those deep ball throws and he either overshoots it or it's just like a throwaway, So that is what Ben Johnson, I feel like if Ben Johnson and him can really work on that while also improving that offensive line to give Caleb a little bit more time for the plays to develop, the sky's the limit. Like if he can get that deep ball to his receivers, to DJ Moore, to Rome Odunze and get that connection with Rome, that would be like very dangerous in terms of an offense. And that's just something that Caleb has done in USC. Like if you look back at USC, he didn't really have that good of an offensive line either, but he had Cliff Kingsbury, he had Lincoln Riley, who were offensive minded gurus that were able to, coach him to be, successful and show that arm talent that he has, which he has showcased here and there. But I just think that even with all this turmoil, with all this like commotion this entire season, he was still able to put together 3,500 yards. And if that doesn't scream franchise quarterback to you, then I have no idea what will. Because with all that, because usual like rookie quarterbacks that go to like that kind of situations, they crumble because the system around them is not well or like set up properly. Yeah, so that's just mainly it. Sorry, I went on a little bit of a ramble, but it's just I'm just really excited, and it's just that I'm just really looking forward to seeing what moves we're gonna make because their possibilities are endless with the amount of guard talent that's available, with the amount of edge rushing talent in the draft and in free agency. Like, I just want to see what Ben Johnson can do. And I think the final question, I guess, to kind of like tie it all up together is, you know, the staff isn't fully complete. The coordinators are, like with Dennis Allen, Declan Doyle, and we're bringing back Hightower. Is there one I missed?
No. There's
I think
I
those are
mean
the
they brought in Al Harris, Antoine Randall L, and JT Barrett.
I like
But
I
those
like the
are
Al
big
Harris
four.
one. I like the
yeah.
Al Harris.
Yeah,
like
that's
him.
a good one.
So with all those like hires, obviously it's not fully complete because you have the O-line coach you have to look into. I think there's like a rumor for who they're going to bring into that. But with all those people, with all the staff, like, wait, shoot, I my question, I just went away from me for a second. But what is the outcome? What do you think that this staff? What is the potential that this staff has for this upcoming season? Because right now it's looking like the Bears, Ben Johnson's putting together the Avengers in a sense. Obviously, we'd have loved to have Fraley to be our offensive line coach, but things don't always work out that way. But I just wanted to put it to you guys. Like, what are your thoughts and what this could potentially be?
Yeah, I'll just give you the 30-second rundown. I think that this team is in a much better position. It's a lot better team than, I mean, a lot of people had the Bears doing big things last year just based on the roster. No one ever talked about the coaching staff. Now that you have the coaching staff that you have in place, especially with two guys with head coaching experience, now with Ben Johnson being one of them and Dennis Allen being the other, and respectfully leading their own sides of the ball, I think that this team can be a very good team. 10 plus wins is possible, much more possible than last year. It all depends on the trenches. And like you guys were saying, you go out and get a Trey Smith, you go out and get a Will Campbell, you go on the other side, you get Abdul Carter, you get, Michael Williams or someone along those lines in order to help improve, give Montez Sweat a Batman and Robin, Javon Dexter Sr. a Batman and Robin situation, and just depth. I think this team could go pretty far, but it all depends on what they do in the offseason with all the money in the cap or draft capital. It's very possible.
Yeah. Well, you have any thoughts, too?
I think he nailed it, man. I think this team, like, I feel like I saw the thing where we had the second hardest schedule next season, so that kind of worries me a little bit. I saw our away schedule. That's painful. But again, I can't really say yet because obviously, we got the coach, but we kind of need to get the weapons. You need the players. At the end of the day, you got the best coaching staff, but the players have to execute the plays. So I got to see the players. I got to see how we draft. Got to see free agency. And then, but like right now, the way we're playing, I feel like we can get maybe 9 or 10 wins. I'm not really putting like 12 wins. I thought we can do that last year, but I don't know. With this hard of a schedule, I don't know. But obviously, I'm excited. Like every season, no matter what, I'm excited for the Chicago Bears, and hopefully, one day we can hoist the Lombardi, man. Like that's the end goal. But we got to see what we do in free agency, the draft. I'm excited for that. A lot of off-season content, but yeah, I'm excited for that, man.
Yeah. Well, as always, thank you, Nick, for joining us today and talking about Chicago Bears. Had some very good insights as well, and all his YouTube and everything is in the description down below. So definitely check him out. He has great content as well. Again, appreciate you for joining us and talking with us today.
Yeah, thanks, fellas. You guys have a good rest of your night. We'll do it again soon, and bear down, baby.
Bear down, man. See you later.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
All right, now we're off to what happened this past weekend, because now let's move on to that, because we have a lot to talk about that, because good God, there was a lot. Let's dive into that real quick. Yeah, so first and foremost, let's talk about the Commanders and Eagles game.
What a close game.
Yeah, I mean, it's something, because okay, let's first dive into this. was this something that you expected? Like, was this something like was this outcome what you expected between like for this game and the other game?
Um, no, I did not. Obviously, I would be lying if I said I expected the Eagles to win by 30. I picked the Eagles to win the game, but no, I mean, look, this Commanders team was red hot. Going to Detroit, I mean, I feel like again, Commanders fans, you guys should be happy. The season was great for y'all. Guys got your quarterback. But again, like if you lost this game, it really wasn't on Jaden. I hate to say this because Jaden and Caleb, they're gonna have a rivalry, bro. But like you can't really blame this loss on Jaden. Like he put the ball in the right place. They just had fumbles. Like the receivers dropped the ball like while running. Like I'll just say this: if Jalen Hurts plays like this, now I think they can win the Super Bowl. They can definitely win the Super Bowl. Now, again, you're going against the Kansas City Chiefs defense. I don't think Hurts is going to do this, but if he does this and Saquon Barkley can run the ball like he does, the Eagles will win the Super Bowl. That's how the Eagles will win the Super Bowl. They got to run through Barkley, and then the pass game will open, and you have to throw the ball to A.J. Brown, Devonta Smith. You have to use those wide receivers. Now, the Commanders, they overachieved, in my opinion. Like, let's be honest, man. I don't think of the Commanders differently. They have $90 million in cap space next season. They are going to build this team. I trust this team. Free agency last year, they built the team. Now they're going to build a team even more because now they have confidence in Jaden Daniels. Now, here's the thing, though. This could be another Texan situation where they build a team and something doesn't go right, but I don't agree with that. I think Jaden Daniels and the Commanders will be good. The NFC East is going to be very interesting next season with I think Cowboys are going to get better because Dak is going to be healthy. They're going to do stuff. I think the Eagles are just a force to be reckoned with. And then you got the Commanders. And then the Giants are just the Giants. They're rebuilding. So I think the NFC East might be one of the best divisions next year in football. Commanders have a really good future. Eagles, congratulations for going to the Super Bowl. 2 Super Bowls in 3 years. Very hard to do. We'll give you your flowers here, man. But yeah, I gotta give my flowers to Jalen Hurts.
About it before that, before you think
game,
about
man.
it, yeah, they made this. I mean, obviously, you had to count the Nick Foles Super Bowl in 2018. Like, think about it that way. Like, in 7 years, they made the Super Bowl 3 times. Like,
yeah, but like, I don't really count the Foles one like now because that's not really like it counts, but like, I don't really. I care more about like what we've done with Hurts. Like, I care about the Hurts one because that's a whole different like regime.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
no, that's completely fair. I just thought it was kind of interesting. Like, that was pretty cool.
Yeah,
like that they did.
I just think that look, the Eagles, they're the best team in the NFC. It was never a question. Now, if the Lions were healthy, it might have been a question. Obviously, it would have been better NFC Championship, but that's a what if. Obviously, we can't go with what ifs. In my opinion, Commanders, they made it this far. They are the second best team in the NFC. You have to say that. They beat impressive. They went 14-6 this season. I mean, that's impressive. Congrats to the Commanders, man. I can't say anything bad about them, man. They had a great season, man.
No, yeah, I completely agree. Like, where do I even start, dude? Saquon Barkley. That's all you really need to say for this game because this game was literally either about Saquon Barkley, and I would say the second part was Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts had himself a good game. Jalen Hurts, like, as much slander we give Jalen, like, in the media, like, he had himself a good game. Like, really a good game. And he didn't turn over the ball. He didn't make mistakes. He put the ball where it needed to be. He was poised in the pocket. And Saquon Barkley did his thing. 3 touchdowns. Could have had 4, potentially. But, bro hit 2 touchdowns and 2 possessions. So it's genuinely like insane how good this guy is, in the way he's able to dude, like if the Giants had just like gotten their team saturated, like imagine what he could have done with the Giants. Like if he was able to do that, it just shows with a good team around a great player, You
I
can
don't think
do
he does it.
insane.
I think Saquon Barkley is a great player, but I disagree because the Eagles arguably have the best offensive line in all of football. Like, I don't think the Giants ever had near anything like that. And you
No,
can't
I
just say, oh,
agree.
if you can't just say like if the Giants had that, like because you don't know like how the Giants are gonna draft them, how they're gonna get them. So that's a big what
No,
if
that's
in my
completely fair. You're right. I didn't.
yeah.
My point was really like the fact that Saquon did it with that crappy of an offensive line all those years is something else because dude was balling even then, and this is just the next level of that. And in his first season, that was the X factor that allowed them to make the Super Bowl and only lose 3 games this entire season. Like they started off shaky in the first couple of games. Like didn't they lose to Atlanta and stuff like that, and the Commanders and stuff? Like this, you
I
gotta
don't
give
know.
props to the Eagles. They did their thing and they made the big game. But for the Commanders, the future is so bright for them. I think that if they bring back Cliff Kingsbury and the continuity is there, they're gonna be really good with him. And Jaden Daniels working together. And Jaden Daniels, this game, like you said, like played pretty flawless. Uh, just that interception wasn't really on him. It was just him trying to make a play in kind of
I
garbage
mean,
time at that
it is
point.
on him, but like it
But
doesn't
like,
really matter.
no, yeah, it's not like a game deciding pick or anything like that. It was just like, all right, we're down, we're trying to score, whatever. Like he had himself a decent game. They threw the ball a lot, but the main thing I kind of like was puzzled in the beginning because I think a lot of people aren't going to mention this a lot, but remember the first possession for the Commanders was like 18 plays, and they drove down the field. They converted 2 4th downs, 2 4th and longs, like 4th and 5, you know? And yeah, they got to the 20-yard line, and it was like 4th and 2, but they
Yeah.
decide to go for the field goal. I think in hindsight, they should have gone for that 4th down. Like, I get it. It's the law of averages. Like, it always averages out. But I think it's I feel like that could have maybe set the tone for the game instead of the field goal. And I think it could have been a lot closer. Listen, I wanted the Eagles to win for the sake of, the Commanders.
Hmm.
Um, but then again, uh,
Yeah.
it just can't always work out that way.
I
To answer this question real quick,
yeah, that's what I was gonna do.
yeah, like, oof,
Whatever
there's a
the
lot.
F I want, whatever the F I want. He says the Bears will get to 90 million salary available. What should they do in that? Look, obviously, I think they should try to get Trey Smith. I think he's probably the best guard available. Hopefully the chances Chiefs don't like resign him. I don't think they can because they have like people they got to resign. I think um get another edge rusher, man. That's what I've been saying. Like, I really wanted Daniil Hunter last season, but
Max
it
Crosby
Max Crosby, maybe go trade for him. Maybe go
or
trade
even
for Max
Miles
Crosby.
Garrett.
Miles Garrett, he's available too. I mean,
Ooh,
they're both on teams that like are rebuilding. Maybe they're available. And then also the Bears, like it's not all about the salary cap, in my opinion, right? It's like you have to resign players, but you also have to draft really well because we have 9 picks this draft, right? So we can obviously go and draft well. If we need like Ryan Poles has to hit this draft, man. What do you think about bringing back Khalil Mack? I would be
I
open to
don't
it
think.
only for the very cheap deal because like
Mhm.
he's very old. He's contemplating retirement. I would much rather have a guy that's like 28, 29 that's going to be here for the long run. But Khalil Mack definitely would help in the short run because he's still a force to be reckoned with. He still had 12 sacks this season. So it's not like he's a bum, but I would be open to it, but it has to be a cheap deal. It has to be like maybe 1 or 2 years, man. One year, I think. It has to be a 1 year deal. I can't even be 2 because he was contemplating on retirement. So I don't want to sign a player to a big deal when they're contemplating on retirement and they're on their like last hip. I mean, I don't know. Okay, not last hip, like last leg. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know. You can answer this question too.
No, I agree. I think that a short deal would be ideal for Khalil Mack if we do. And if I think we also need to address drafting or edge rusher at that point too, because Khalil Mack is not going to be there that long, and we might as well get another edge rusher that's young that can, you know, be there when Khalil Mack is not. So it'd be cool to bring him back, but yeah, like Will Campbell would be nuts. Like I would
Yeah,
love Will Campbell. Like that's
I
my
think
like
it's the
number one
obvious.
choice because he
I
can
think it's
play a
the
guard
obvious pick.
and as edge. Sorry,
No,
and
no, no. Like, no, I agree with you. Dude. You hit on it. Like the versatility of Will Campbell makes him so special, right? And I'm being so serious. If I'm the Bears and there's teams threatening to take Will Campbell, I'm trading up to get Will Campbell. I don't care. He is the best tackle in the draft. And you know what? For good players, you gotta pay the price. So I would actually trade up for Will Campbell if we have to. I see a lot of drafts where they have the Bears taking him at like 10, but I
he's
would be
not
open
falling
to
that
it,
low.
man. You don't think
Like
he's
he would
falling that
not be
low?
falling that low because I feel like there are gonna be like teams that are gonna think twice. I mean, that's my initial thinking. Like,
No, but there's definitely like more players that are like I see a lot of players like teams that already have like linemen, and I
mhm.
could see them picking like Tedero McMillan. They could take Mikael Williams. They could take Abdul Carter, Malachi Starks, Will Johnson, Travis Hunter, Abdul Carter, like Shadur Sanders, Cam Ward. There might be a team that even surprises everyone and gets a quarterback. Like we don't know how the draft is gonna be. But guys, again, we had the ninth pick before. I'm still happy that we won that game against Green Bay. There's some Bears fans that are mad about that. Like, who cares? You finally broke a streak after 5 years of not beating the Green Bay Packers. I don't care. We moved down one slot. So yeah, Will Campbell will be an amazing pick for us. But again, if we don't get Will Campbell, and maybe we won't because we go get Trey Smith in the offseason, and he's a very young player. Maybe we go and draft like maybe a Nick Scorton. We trade down and go get Nick Scorton, or we get Mikael Williams out of Georgia. There's so much people in the draft. It's not a very quarterback heavy draft, but it's more of a edge rusher, offensive lineman, a lot of supporting cast draft. So again, guys, we still have a lot of time for that. Obviously, we got to see how we attack free agency, and there's still a lot of options, man. Look, again, this is a great time to be a Chicago Bears fan. I know we say that every offseason, but it's a great time to be a Bears fan. So if you guys want to hop on the bandwagon right now, hop on the bandwagon. This is the perfect time because I'm telling y'all right now, Caleb Williams is that dude. And Ben Johnson is that dude too. So I'm telling y'all right now, this is the best time. But again, we still do have to temper our expectations right now, obviously. Obviously, we're not a Super Bowl team, but that's what I gotta say,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah, I mean, you hit pretty much what I wanted to say, but let's go
Wanna go
on
back to
to.
this?
Do you have
Yeah.
anything else to say about this game? Any?
This game,
Oh,
yeah. Sorry.
wait. The
Mhm.
Luvu,
Dude, that guy's crazy. I really, if he's available, I would trade for him, bro. He's actually a really good player. He shaped the Washington defense. If I'm the Commanders, I'm not getting rid of him, but he's a really good player. Like I would love him on the Bears. But yeah,
but that was
I
so
mean, dude,
funny.
but
Yeah,
like, what are you supposed to do? Like that's such an unguardable thing. Like I'm sorry, I don't blame him for doing that. Like he's trying to beat the count and try to get Jalen Hurts down. I mean, the Bills should have taken notes from the Eagles, dude. I'm being so serious. That's how OP the Eagles are when it comes to the tush push. So yeah, I don't blame Frankie Louis for that, man. Like, I
no,
get it,
yeah,
he did excessively, but what is he supposed to do? Like, let him score? Like, you
yeah.
can't. But
I, honestly, I genuinely thought it was gonna be like, you know, I, I genuinely was like, bro, I never knew that was an actual rule where if you like continuously, like, I felt like they were just griefing at that point. Like they were just like, we were already down by so much, let's just try anything possible, and it was just pretty fun to see like
yeah,
refs just like, we'll award the touchdown if you continue to do it. This is a warning. Like I didn't
no,
know that
that's a
was a
rule.
rule.
That's a rule. That's a rule. It makes sense
I had no
because it's
idea that
like
was a rule.
you're delaying the game, and like they can't really move the football. Because like at
Yeah.
some point you can't move the football. You got to move the football into the end zone, right? So like it makes sense. I like that rule. I like it.
Hey man,
Sorry
don't
for
worry.
pushing you guys
Whatever.
off
Yeah.
topic. No, it's chill,
No.
man. We like talking about the
No,
Bears,
man.
man.
Yeah.
It's a
Listen.
Bears.
Listen.
This
At
is
the
a
end of the
Bears.
day,
Bears first channel, man.
yeah, exactly. And we're just chilling. Yeah. So yeah, no worries at all. But I think let's go to the game. that I know
You guys
you're
have
interested in.
if you have more questions, guys, in the chat, just keep asking us, man. We're down
Yeah,
to
just ask us
talk
questions. We'll
about
love
it.
to answer them. But yeah.
All right, this
Anyway, you want to take it?
game of the year. Game of the year. I was trying to tell you all this right now, man. I'll tell you all. Look, guys, if you guys don't know me, I like Patrick Mahomes. I'm very unpopular here, obviously. I'm like probably the most unpopular guy here. I wanted the Chiefs to win, man. I want to see 3P, bro. I want to see it. But
You're like, dude.
Patrick Mahomes is that guy, man. He is that guy. I'm sorry. And all I think this game really proved that Andy Reid is in the conversation being the greatest coach ever. That play call at the end of the game to Samaji Perine has to go down as one of the most clutch play calls I've ever seen.
Ever?
Yes.
There's no
Yeah.
shot you think that's the ever.
No, I think it's one of the, not the, but it's one of them. Obviously, I think the helmet catch is like probably the most clutch. Like that was crazy. But I'm just saying, like, that was such a great play call. And then I think Spags has to get a lot of credit for this game. I mean, 4th and 5, that corner blitz on Josh Allen. He fooled Josh Allen, man, and Josh Allen had to heave it. Dalton Kincaid couldn't bring it down. I mean, that's a hard catch. I can't really blame Dalton Kincaid. A lot of people are saying, "Oh, they should have got the first down." That's not a first down, man, because I saw the same play call against the Packers with the Bears 2 years ago in Green Bay. Justin Fields broke the plane clearly, and they didn't give him the touchdown. So I do not feel bad for Josh Allen not getting that because it was the same play call. And again, maybe, Bills don't tush push it after they stopped it 5 times, and maybe, run the ball with James Cook. Maybe try something new. You might have gotten them there. But anyways, and that's another thing with the play. Like, I feel like Spags gets a lot of credit for that because they knew that Josh Allen always likes to go over the left tackle. He likes to, when he does the tush pushes. So I think the Chiefs were just the better coach team, better quarterback, better defense, weapons play well. Juju Smith-Schuster had a game. Like, Mahomes had 2 rushing touchdowns.
In the year 2025, we're talking about Juju Smith-Schuster having a good game.
I know. I'm just saying,
insane
like,
times.
Xavier
No. I'm just
Worthy,
saying it's insane times. Yeah.
Xavier Worthy had a good game. He had a touchdown. He had that crazy catch. Like, I'm just saying this right now, Bills, when will you guys ever learn that to never trade with the Kansas City Chiefs? You just gave them Xavier Worthy, and 8 years ago, you gave them Patrick Mahomes. So yeah, I don't feel bad for the Bills franchise. They did this to themselves. I do feel bad for Josh Allen, though. I think he's a heck of a player. And please, give him the MVP, man. I'm being so serious. Like, just give him the MVP, bro. Like, he has literally nobody, and he brought this team to the AFC Championship game. You have to give him the MVP. Lamar Jackson, in the biggest game of his life, fumbled. I know Mark Andrews also fumbled. But Josh Allen, with all the adversity, beat the Broncos, beat the Ravens, who are a hot team, and almost beat the Chiefs. So I got to give it to Josh Allen for the MVP. I feel bad for him. But again, Kansas City Chiefs, we're witnessing the greatest team ever. And, number 15 always gets it done, man. That's the difference between Josh Allen. That's the difference between Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson. Everybody is at number 15. No matter how bad of a game, he had a great game. No matter how the game is going, number 15 will find a way to win the game. And Andy Reid will find a play call. The most creative offensive mind in all of sports will find a way to rip the soul out of the fans and the other team. And let's be honest, man. Is it time to say that Patrick Mahomes owns Josh Allen? Is it time? I think it's time, man. 4-0. I don't care what he does in the regular season. 4-0 when it matters the most. I'm not saying it's all Josh Allen's fault, but he does get some blame. When he opened the game, he had two interception-worthy plays. So, again, I'm not blaming Josh. Fantastic game. The Bills got to get some wide receivers, man. And I think that Amari Cooper trade was probably one of the worst trades because they didn't even use him. I mean, it wasn't really that bad of a trade. You just didn't use him. Like, yeah. I never understood that, man.
I feel like they could have utilized Amari more. But I think the one thing that really, kind of allowed the Kansas City Chiefs to really take advantage of the Bills was the Bills' inability to recognize that when something good is happening, they have to keep running it. And by running, I mean utilizing James Cook. Because while Josh Allen was having a somewhat decent game, he had some good throws. Like, you see that James Cook was churning and he was working. So if you're Joe Brady, why would you go away from that? And I think Joe Brady is not the only one who's ever done it. Like, we saw, like, last year in the AFC Championship game when it was Derrick Henry and not Derrick Henry. What am I saying? Like, when what's his name? Offensive coordinator of the Ravens. Um, I'm blanking. I talked about him so much. Um, but
Who are you talking about? From Joe
the
Brady?
no.
Frazier.
No. For the Ravens,
Todd Monken.
Todd Monken. I like talked about him as a head coaching candidate.
Oh, you know why I know Todd Monken? Because you said that Todd Monken would be a better coach than what's his name, Mike McCarthy, bro. Like, get out of here.
I mean, he could be, honestly. I don't know, but I'm just saying, like, last year when they went away from the run game, and you know, that's the same thing I think they did here with Joe Brady. But then again, gotta give
But I
Chiefs
hate,
the credit. They
but I
they
hate when
took care
people
of
say
business.
that though. I mean, here's my thing, real quick. I hate when people say that because if you're that good of a quarterback, why is it wrong for the team to have plays to throw the ball? Josh Allen's a
I mean,
fantastic quarterback.
no,
He can
Josh
throw the
Allen did
ball.
throw the ball, but I just think that they didn't utilize, like, when in crucial moments they utilized Josh's arm too much. Because when listen, you can be a
But like,
good
okay,
quarterback.
but
You can
would
be
we
no, no,
ever?
no.
No, but
It
would we
doesn't
ever
matter
say
if
that?
you could be a good quarterback, but if you continuously keep passing over and over and over again, your playbook gets more predictable as the time. They know you're gonna pass at that point, so they're just
But
gonna
it's fourth
stack the
and
box.
but it's 4th and 5.
No, I'm just saying, like, yeah, no, I'm talking about earlier plays. That's why you're saying when you're made your argument about, you know, why if you're a good quarterback, why can't you just continuously throw? Because that's not how game works. You have to go
No,
based
I'm
on
not. I'm
the
not.
play
I'm not
call.
saying that. I'm not saying that. You definitely need a run game. I completely agree with you. But James Cook had 14 carries for 85 yards and 2 touchdowns. It's not like they didn't feed him the ball. It's just like in
Right, but they
crucial
could have fed
moments
him
in a
more.
game winning drive. You're talking about the game winning drive. Like
No, I'm
they're
talking
not gonna
about
run the
in
ball.
general in the fourth quarter.
Like no, in the fourth quarter, James Cook and what's his name, the Davis guy was getting touches. I don't think I just think that the Chiefs outplayed them. I don't think there was anything wrong with the run game for the Bills. I think the Bills had a good run game. It's just the Chiefs were able to stop them, and the Chiefs were just able to beat Josh Allen. And will Josh Allen ever get past the Chiefs? They need to find out, man, because I just don't think that as long as Andy Reid's there, as long as 15 is there, as long I think Kelsey's gone after this season because they're going to 3P and he's probably going to be gone. But as long as they have 15 Spags and Reed, I just don't think they can get past them because people are undermining. I think Sean McDermott is a good coach, but year after year after year, you get outcoached by Andy Reid every time. There's got to be something. I'm not saying to get rid of Sean McDermott. He's a great coach, but something's got to change, man, for the Bills, man. I can't blame the quarterback. I just can't. I can't blame their play calling for calling passing plays because Josh Allen's a great quarterback to pass the ball. I'm like, it's not like, okay, because I remember they said that about Lamar Jackson. I was like, but he's the MVP of the league. He's a quarterback. Like, why are we saying, oh, yeah, you made Lamar throw the ball that a lot? Like, no, he's a quarterback. He's supposed to throw the ball a lot. That's what happens. We're in a pass heavy league. Like, I never understood that. But that's my take, man.
Yeah, that's completely fair. Um, I think that this game said a lot of things about, you know, about Mahomes' legacy, about Josh Allen going forward, and
The GOAT, man.
it's it's just I
Come on
think
now.
it's going to be interesting. I mean, if Mahomes wins another Super Bowl, he'll definitely be more and more in the conversation being the greatest of all time.
I think he's already
Like,
number 2. Man.
7.
He's already
He's
number
a-
2.
You can say he's already number 2, but you know, if he wins another one, that's 4 Super Bowls in 7 years of being a quarterback.
Three-peat after no. 3-peat and after losing Tyreek Hill. That's like Steph Curry going on a 3-peat after losing Kevin Durant, but he didn't. He only won 1. But that was huge because that brought, I don't want to bring this up about the Warriors, but that brought Curry into like the top 10. He's top 5 for me, but he brought him to the top 10. Like just because the way he carried a championship team without Kevin Durant, and that was a whole narrative. And then the whole narrative is like, okay, Tyreek Hill's gone. What's next for Patrick Mahomes? They can't run the ball. They can't do anything. And guess what? They're about a 3-peat, man. They bought a 3-peat, dog.
Yeah, and they're doing with multiple rookie wide receivers as well. But
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, I just still think that personally, I think Mahomes
and with injuries, Rashee Rice is not even playing.
That's also true.
Pacheco was out for half or most of the season. Like Kareem Hunt was not even like no one picked him up, and they picked him up, and he's playing amazing. That's how good the Chiefs system is, man. And I'm just, we're just witnessing greatness here, man. I sometimes I'm not trying to glaze or anything. Like we're just witnessing greatness, and it sucks. Obviously, if you're not a Chiefs fan, and if you don't like Mahomes, it sucks, obviously. But sometimes we just gotta appreciate greatness here, and we're witnessing it right now. This is the Mahomes era, and
but I just think that. But no. The thing is, like, fine, I understand that. Very understandable. I just think that we have this conversation all the time. Like, good teams have a little bit of leeway when it comes to, like, calls. There are some calls in that game.
Come on
that
now.
were.
Come on now.
Listen,
Come on now.
Clearly won that game. Like, yeah, I agree. They gave Josh Allen a chance. They won that game, 100%. It wasn't all on the ref. I'm just saying, there were some moments in that game, a little bit suspect. That
what was so suspect of the way?
I saw that play multiple times, dude. That was not a catch, dude. That was not a catch.
Okay. First of all, people say that, right? Let's just say it was not a catch. There was a penalty for defensive holding, which would have brought them to a first down. And who's to say that they wouldn't have scored a touchdown either way?
No, I agree. That's
okay.
So okay, fine. Okay, but I'm just saying that's like that changes. Like a penalty like that changes the momentum swing for the team that got away with it.
Doesn't matter because Josh Allen, the Bills also had a defensive holding penalty that anyways brought momentum.
I'm not saying that the Bills didn't benefit from them, but the thing is, when you're a good team like that, you're gonna be under the microscope way more.
This is my thing, man. Right? This is my thing. We cannot be pinpointing. Like
also, one more thing.
The Bills lost because they weren't the better team. They got out
first down. That was a first down. You can't tell me otherwise.
First down, bro.
Dude,
it wasn't a first down. He didn't break the plane.
On one side said that it was. He saw it for face first. He saw it, clear vision, said it. The dude that didn't see it went over and was like, oh, that's not a first down. But then swayed the other person. Like everyone saw that play. It was a first down.
They reviewed it.
Just because they reviewed it doesn't mean that it's the right call.
Dude, I'm just tired of this, man. I'm tired of this because if the Chiefs had the same thing, you guys would not be petitioning them to get that as the right call. Just admit it. Just admit it that everyone here is a hater of the Chiefs. I don't care about the Chiefs. I just like Mahomes. I want to see greatness. And if that means they beat the Bills, who cares? Who cares? You can't just say that like, okay, they didn't get that call, so it was a first down. You can't say that. They reviewed it. NFL authorities reviewed it. They reviewed it in Secaucus. They reviewed it. Not a first down.
It was a first down, though.
Well, it wasn't. Like I trust the guys in Secaucus than you. I'm sorry, I do. I do.
Do you realize how crazy that sounds? It's like
that wasn't a first down. It wasn't.
It was a first down. Oh, anyways, I guess agree to disagree. But
how is that a first down, man? He was literally short of the line.
Dude, he wasn't. He literally
was.
It was like literally passing.
If he was, then they would have called it, bro. They would have called it. They wouldn't have.
They always miss calls like that, dude. Like,
all right, bro. Why? The almighty Mahomo? Is that why? Is that why? I don't understand
Yeah,
why
anyway.
you and people cannot admit that they're the best. Thank you, Sarah Collins. Thank you. It was a first down.
Yeah, it was a
Oh,
first down. You're
no,
right.
no, 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 no,
You did it. You got
no.
it.
Wait,
Gotcha.
Sarah Collins. Sarah
Like,
Collins. You're wrong, buddy. You're
in
wrong.
first
You're
in
wrong.
4K,
It's
you
not a
got
first
it.
down, dude. It was not a first down. I'm sorry. Like I don't care. I don't care. It was not a first down. Just admit it. They won because they're the better team. I don't.
Sure, they
I'm
could be the
tired of.
better team, but
I'm
they
tired.
benefited
I'm
from
tired.
doing it too.
Okay. So Tom Brady. Okay, we should eliminate all of Tom Brady's rings because
No,
every time he won, he literally got he got lucky every time, man, with calls. All teams get okay. LeBron James should not get his rings because he got a lot of calls that went his way. The Warriors should not get their rings because they got a lot of calls going their way. Like we
no.
should just
Okay,
eliminate
okay.
all the champions.
You're kind
We
of
should eliminate all the
misinterpreting what I'm
champs, man.
saying. I'm not really saying that. Like, listen, like that doesn't count or whatnot. I'm just saying, listen, the better team won. I just felt like the game.
Okay, so
Like,
the Bills didn't have
the
any calls.
integrity-
So
the
you're telling
integrity
me
of
the
the
Bills
game-
and the Bills and the Texans did not have any calls that went towards them. You're telling me
No, I like no. Hear me
they
out.
all favored the Chiefs. They all favored the Chiefs, right? Is that why
No,
they all favored them?
No. It didn't all favor the Chiefs. It's
Because the Bills
How
had
do I
more
say that?
penalties. The Bills had more penalties for them.
yes,
like on the
yeah,
Chiefs. The
yeah,
Chiefs had
but-
more penalties against them.
But the thing is, the degree of the penalty or the degree of the how badly it was called for those plays
I
where it was
promise you,
crucial
Josh
moments.
Allen, Sean McDermott, James Cook,
Like,
all
I
the
agree,
players on
but
the
Bills
team
also
do not care because they know they lost the game. They lost. Mahomes is going to be the NFL. Is going to be the NFL what Jordan was to the NBA in the 90s. Yes, he is. Like I agree, man. He is.
I'm not saying
one of-
listen, I'm not saying Mahomes is a fraud or
best.
anything like that. I'm not saying that.
But you
at all.
are though. But you are
How?
when you were
I'm just
saying that.
Listen,
When you're saying that,
I'm not.
you're
No.
discriminating. Sorry, you're disregarding his wins. You're saying, oh, the
I
refs
didn't
did this.
disagree. Okay, they clearly won that game. I'm not saying that they didn't. I just think that it would have been. I felt like the outcome of the game, like, was a little bit affected due to these penalties, and that just I think the whole
No,
like,
but but you notice how you're just using different word choices now. You're saying the outcome of the game, so you're saying the Chiefs didn't win that game cleanly. That's what you're basically saying, and that's just not true. They got outcoached. They made more plays than the Bills. It does not matter. Calls are going to be miscalled, bro. They're humans. They're going to miss calls. That's just what happens.
It doesn't
happens
matter
in
if
all
you're human. You
sports.
go check it.
Yeah,
go
they check it.
on the.
They check it,
and then you
and
still call the same play. That was wrong.
It was unanimous, bro. It was
How was that
unanimous.
unanimous?
But it was not a first down. It was not a first down. He was short of the line to gain. I trust people who do this for a job, who are looking on the camera, who are looking at multiple views. There's some people that are watching. There's some people that are watching on TV, man. I'm sorry. I'm going to trust them.
I think you should look at it again, dude. I'm pretty sure that you.
No, I watched it.
They
I watched
utilized
it.
the line and they made it like as if it's going around. That's not how it works.
But
anyways,
you can discredit, man. You can discredit it, bro. That's just that you just call it. It's a loser mindset, man. You're just saying, like, I promise you, Josh Allen, the Bills, and everyone do not care. They do not care. They knew they lost the game. They lost the game. At the end of the day, they lost the game. You didn't see Josh Allen like bitch about it like Will Anderson did about the calls, because Will Anderson is a certified loser for doing that, and he will never have any greatness, bro. Because if you complain about the refs after losing, and blaming that, then you are not ready to win in the National Football League. And I'm not saying he's a great player. He's a great player.
When Mahomes, like, you know, remember that one in regular season game when Mahomes was complaining over and over about and even when they were shaking hands with Josh Allen, like he was like, that was a very bad call. That was a bad call. Like all that. You think that? Like that? What?
But Will Anderson hasn't proven anything in the National Football League.
So you have to prove something
Mahomes,
in order to.
No.
So what?
Okay.
Josh Allen has proven a little bit, like more than Will Anderson did, and
Josh Allen, and Josh Allen doesn't do it. He doesn't do it. He said, "We're not." Did you hear his conference? He said, "We're not good enough, and we didn't win." It's simple. They didn't. They weren't the better team. I'm sorry. No. And let's just say they won. Let's just say the Eagles. Sorry, it was Bills Eagles. Dude, Bills, you guys lost your 5th Super Bowl. It wouldn't even be close. The Eagles would have ran down their throat. it wouldn't even be close, man. They get
Yeah.
smoked, man. Come on now. Come on now.
Anyways,
Come on now.
like I still think like at the end of the day, you're right that the Chiefs were the better team. Like I think the one
Not even
thing that kind of
close.
got away from the Bills, having success, and I think you know it was should have been in their game plan for in the first place to make sure you get those
Mhm.
first downs and make sure you get those first downs cleanly so that it wouldn't come down to a decision like that. I guess there's an argument for that as well. And also, the two near dropped interceptions in the beginning could have been a big turning point in the game. But then again, the Bills did benefit. 100% agree as well. But or get away with it. Same to the Chiefs as well. But that's here nor there. And at the end of the day, the game just finished, and that's just how it is.
Yep.
But
It is
wow,
what it is,
we're
man.
way over.
We're not a fan of any of those two teams. I mean, it is what it is. This is the Bears first channel, bro. So who cares? Yeah, let's gonna wrap it up. Let's wrap it up, man.
Yeah,
We've been here for an hour and 11
good.
minutes. Shout out to the 94 people watching, man. We really appreciate it.
Appreciate Nick for joining us.
Yep.
Not doing just another year Chicago Bears. For joining us and talking about the Chicago Bears. Appreciate everyone tuning in. And
yeah, if you guys
hopefully,
if you guys missed that, this video I think it will be on YouTube, right? So
watch the VOD.
Yeah, it will be from like I think he was here for like the
First
start to like
minutes,
first 30 to 35 minutes he was here. So if you guys want to watch him, that's the way you can. It will be on SoBackSports' YouTube channel. So go subscribe. Yeah, you have anything else,
guys? Yeah, as always, we're gonna see you guys in the next episode of the podcast every Tuesdays and Thursdays. And subscribe. We're trying to hit 600 subscribers soon. So please hit that subscribe button. It really helps me out a lot. Hit that like button for the algorithm. As always, we'll see you guys in the next one.